Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. So this is the fourth video of the series Introduction to Linear Algebra. So the first and second part were actually about like the first part is about the concept and the second and third part are of the problems. So everything like second video is of problems from basic to medium, and the third video is of the problems from the medium level, and it's also ranging from the basic level to somewhat above medium level. So like all these are basic things, so it's quite difficult for us to make it complex using using only these concepts. So because we are limited to the first concept video, like the first concept, so that's the reason the problems in the second and third video were slightly of the basic level. So once we advance into the further concepts and all, then we can combine them and we can have some advanced type of problems. So this is the fourth video. So today we'll be learning about so here are the table of contents. So still we are in the first chapter, that is introduction to vectors. And so today we're gonna learn fine. So today we're gonna learn so the first part of today's lecture would be dot product. Fine. So the first part is dot product. So we all know dot product, like many of the viewers know dot product, but the essence of me teaching this is I just wanted to relate the terms, like how do we relate the concepts of algebra and then the geometry, and that's all the linear algebra. Fine. So that's what we are doing. So in this journey, the initial stage will be of discussing the basics, thoroughly understanding them. So how do we relate them? How do we relate, like geometry is not actually what you apply in your daily life, isn't it? So trigonometry is different, but geometry is not like you'll not be plotting a triangle in the market. So but the thing is, but how can we actually like use algebra in the form of geometry? So the relation between these two, that's all the linear algebra. So in the initial journey we'll be learning a lot of basic things. So I request viewers to not to lose their patience and to just explore themselves to advanced concepts. So these are all the things that you actually need to be proficient enough, then only you can actually understand the depth of the linear algebra. So the first thing is dot product. So for example, if we have the vectors v is equal to 4 comma 2 and w is equal to minus 1 comma 2. Fine. If we have these two vectors, and now when we do the dot product, okay, so if this can be represented as 4i cap plus 2j cap, and this as minus 1i cap plus 2j cap. Okay, so if we do the dot product, so this is 4 into minus 1, that's minus 4, and plus 2 into 2, that is plus 2 into 2, again it's 4, so minus 4 plus 4, which is equal to 0. But how do we do this, like symbolically, how do we represent this in the linear algebra? Is we represent this as column vector as already discussed. So this is 4 2, and this is again a column vector minus 1 2. So now you multiply the first terms and then the second term, so that would be 4 into minus 1 plus 2 into 2, so it's 0. So the same answer. So this is how we'll be doing the dot product in the in the linear algebra. Like how do we represent it? The dot product is what I have told you. So we actually generalize this. So to be honest, we have actually generalized this. If we draw the two perpendicular vectors, so one first perpendicular vector is I comma 0. Okay, we all know I, it's not a complex number that you're taking, so I would represent this as in this way. It's better. Like this is a wrong convention, but it is actually used in many of the cases because I is nothing but, yeah, so this is what I meant. So I is equal to 1 comma 0, and then if we have the other one, that is j, that is equal to 0 comma 1. Okay, so I is equal to 1 comma 0 and j is equal to 0 comma 1. This is along the x-axis and this is along y-axis. So the dot product, okay, so the dot product I into j is equal to 1 into 0 plus 0 into 1, so that would result as 0. So because these vectors, like these vectors are actually right angle, like they have a rectangle in between them, like these are perpendicular. We already know that because I is along the x-axis and j is along the y-axis, and in a Cartesian plane you find them there to these both to be perpendicular. So from this we can make a conclusion that Okay, fine. So from this we can make a conclusion that, so if two vectors are perpendicular, then the dot product is 0. Fine. We all know this. It's not a big thing that I've discovered right now and I've taught you people. This is a basic thing. But the idea is, I was already told, the idea is to include all the basic stuff through algebra in an algebraic way. But the thing is, we are dealing this in geometry. Okay. So that's the main idea. I want you people to recognize that. So I just don't want you people to lose your patience and all. So that's it. So this is a dot product, and we can even do it yeah. So the other conclusion, like what's the other conclusion that I could make is, the dot product, this is again a basic property. So as said already, everything is basic in the initial stage. The dot product V into W is equal to dot product W into V. Fine. So it's a basic thing again. So V into W is equal to W into V. You can just put some examples and you can do it. So one of the classical example that I could relate this with is relate with the dot product, like beyond mathematics. If I go to go on to some real life example or something like that, and like let us assume I have some seesaw here. Okay, so please don't judge me with my drawing. I request the viewers not to. So this is x is equal to 0. Fine. This is x is equal to 0, and this is x is equal to -1, and this is x is equal to 1, and this is x is equal to 2. Like this is my like you can just assume this as some seesaw, here it is my the wedge. Okay, here the wedge, I place the wedge here. So this is a hypothetical situation. You can't find the seesaw without any weights to be in this manner. It's definitely, if there is no weight and no weights are placed on the seesaw, and if it's in this way, then definitely you can expect this end to be on the ground. But this is an hypothetical situation that I have created for the viewers, so I just don't want you to confuse. And now if I put some weights, okay, I have put some weights here and I have put some weight here. Okay, so here there's a big stone and here there is a small stone. Two I have drawn in the same size just for my happiness. So this weight, if I assume this to be if I assume this to be if I assume this to be 2 kg, okay, and this to be 1, okay, this to be 1 kg and this to be 2 kg. Now, so I'm not multiplying by g on both sides, okay, I'm not getting into physics. I just want to make sure like I'm actually teaching you the real math. Okay, so now here the moment would be 1 into this is 4. Okay, 4 into, here the moment would be from the wedge, because the wedge is placed here. So here the moment would be 4 into 1. Okay, here the moment would be 4 into 1, and here the moment would be 2 into 2, isn't it? Here the moment is 4 into 1, here the moment is 2 into 2, and now this is equal to 4 and this is equal to 4. Now this is balanced on both sides, so the seesaw will remain in this way. Okay, so now this is a real situation. Now you will find the seesaw to be in a straight manner. So now how can I put this in the algebraic way? So this is basically nothing but 4 into -1, because we are having it in the left of the x is equal to 0, like the left of the origin. So 4 into -1, so this is 4 kg, okay, 4 into -1 plus 2 into 2, 2 into 2, which is equal to 0. And now this, if I convert this into column form, I can write this as weights here and the distances here, okay, and this dot product is equal to 0. Okay, so this is how I can write it. So 4 into -1, 2 into 2 is equal to 0. So these are the weights and these are the distances. Okay, So 4 into minus 1 plus 2 into 2, which is equal to 0. So this is how I can actually represent it. I can actually represent it in the, I'm represented the moments in the column vectors, and the dot product is this 0. So this is how I can do it. And now coming to the next example, that I can take is like now I'll just extend to 3D, like 3 vectors. So if I have some products P1, P2 and P3, okay, like these are the prices of the products, P3 prices, these are the prices, and the quantities Q1, Q2, Q3, okay, these are the quantities. So now I am selling them. Okay, now I am selling them. So what will be the total price that I am gonna get? Okay, like total money that I am gonna get after selling all these things. That is P1 into Q1 plus P2 into Q2 plus P3 into Q3. Okay, so this I can even represent this as P1, P2, P3. So Q1, Q2, Q3. And this is represented as column vectors, and this we use in linear algebra. And this, if you go to some market or if you keep your own business stuff, and if you actually wanted to calculate the amount that you're gonna get at last, so you can just represent this. You can just go on to n vectors, okay, and this has n, okay. So this is how you can represent them. Fine. So this is your total income. So the dot product. So this dot product actually indicates the total income. So this is a dot product that indicates the total income. So if you're gonna increase your number of products, like the different types of products, like P4, P5, P6, and like variety. So P1 is a fridge, and P2 is some fan, or P3 is some light, and P4 is some other electrical appliance. So something like that. And Q1, Q2, Q3 are the respective quantities. Okay, so P1 is the price of fridge, and P2 is the price of a fan, P3 is the price of a other electrical light, and P4 is the price of some other electrical appliance. And Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, etc. denotes the number of quantities. Then you can just multiply them in this fashion, like column matrix fashion, and you can just get the dot product, and that's nothing but the income. So this is how we can actually move on to the higher dimensions. Okay, so this I have limited to the 3D. You can even go to the higher dimensions by increasing the price of the different products and their quantities. So this is how you do it. So the main motto of teaching all these things are all these daily life things, or I would say like the things that you already know. And I'm like I'm teaching like these are all the new things that I'm being taught to you. So what's actually happening, the main motto behind all these things is to teach you that the dot product V into W is equal to V1 into W1 plus V2 into W2 plus V3 into W3 plus so on till Vn into W1. Okay, so where V is V1, V2, V3 so on till Vn, and W is W1, W2 and so on till W1. Fine. So this is the dot product. So that's all that's all I wanted to teach for the very first part. And then coming to the second point. Okay, second point, let me use a different thing this time, just for the heading sake. Like I read a lot lens, and yeah, it's better lens unit vectors. Okay, so the other part would be the unit vectors, and so lens and unit vectors. So, viewers, I just wanted to request you something, like don't judge me with my handwriting or some other silly jokes or drawings or something like that, because I just wanted to teach math, and I actually actually think that many of the famous mathematicians or famous scientists, all their handwritings are too bad, but they are very much bright in like concepts and all. So I feel the same with me, and please don't roast me for this. So but the main thing is please don't judge me with the handwriting or something like that, but I'll try my level best to make it understandable. Okay, fine. So I'll not compromise in that, because if it's not understandable, if I put all the bigger things, like all the bigger theorems and all, it doesn't make sense. So you viewers must understand that, then only the video will actually be a fruitful video. So coming back to the concepts again. So now, so the length, so what is length actually? So how do we define the length? So when if I take a vector v, okay, if I take a vector v and if I dot multiply that vector with itself, okay, now if I dot multiply with the vector with that self, like v is a vector that I've taken, and if I multiply, like if I take the dot product with v itself, now this is what I'm gonna get, okay. So length of v whole square. So this is actually the magnitude. Fine. So v into v. Okay, v into v. The dot product with v itself. Dot product with the vector that you have taken. So with itself. So that would be the this length of v whole square. So now if I take a vector something like v is equal to 1 2 3. Fine. V is equal to 1 2 3. So v into v is equal to 1 2 3 and 1 2 3. So this would be 1 into 1 plus 2 into 2 plus 3 into 3. This is 1 plus 4 plus 9. So this is equal to 14. Okay. So this is what you're gonna get. And length of v. Length of v is already, we know that this is a magnitude. So how do you define the magnitude? That's nothing but root of 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square and to that whole square. So this is basically 4 plus 1. 5 plus 9, 14, the same answer. Okay, so this is how you actually define. So this is a very, very important part. Like, I don't think there could be anyone who could not understand that, but I found really many who are not able to recognize this fact. Fine, because they are not able to recognize this fact initially, but once they know that, they will actually use it in many of the problems to solve, and also they'll understand its basic meaning. Okay, so this is how it actually works. So this is actually the distance of v. So I would say the magnitude. So magnitude of vector v. So and its magnitude of vector v is like it's a distance itself. It's a distance from the origin to the vector v. Okay, to the position vector v. Fine. So some say distance, some say magnitude, some say something. So it's better to leave to their illusion, but to write that perfectly, to understand the concept perfectly, that's the main motto. Okay, so this is how it works. So I hope you guys understood this. I think like you people will definitely understand. So what's a big deal in this? So this is how it works. So to be if I could write that in a statement, so how will that be is the dot product of a vector with itself, it's better, gives the square of the length, or you could say magnitude, something. Okay, it's up to you. So this is how it like if you people want me to put in the statement, so this is what I'm gonna put on in a statement. So this is the answer, like this is the definition. And now so coming to the next part. So now we have already discussed like when the dot products will be 0, like if there is a 90 degrees angle, so the dot product is 0. And if there is no angle like that, so if like this is nothing but like so like v into v, so it's quite understandable that like I don't even need to draw a diagram, but still to make sure like everyone understands it. So this is my Cartesian plane, and this is x-axis and this is y-axis, and if I take some vector like this is 2 and this is 1, so this would be 1 comma 2, so a vector in this way. Okay, so this is 1 comma 2, this is a vector v. And now if I do the dot product with the same vector v, okay, so same vector mean in the sense it's the same vector again, it's a ditto copy, it's the same vector that you're pasting again, isn't it? So that means the angle between them, there's no angle, you could not find any angle, you cannot find any angle, you cannot find any air between them. Okay, you cannot find any air between them because they are the same vectors, they are attached, they are the one and the same, you cannot find any air between them. So you can understand that if you can't find the smallest particle ever in the world, then how can you find the angle in between them? Okay, so there's no angle between them, so that means that theta, if I assume the angle as some theta, so that is 0. So we can come to the conclusion that if there is angle is 0, if the angle between two vectors is 0, then that actually means that the dot product gives the length of that vector. Fine, the dot product gives the length of the vector. So this is a crazy level of understanding this concept. Like some feel it too absurd, but I feel it's a crazy it's a crazy method to learn this. So this is how it works. So let us extend to the higher dimensions now. So as told in the last part of the last video, or I would say last minutes of the last video, as told in the last minutes of the last video. So we must actually increase the imagination, or I would say increase extend the conclusions that we have derived. Okay, we cannot take a n dimension vector on a page and we cannot derive the proofs on it, but we can do the same for a 2-dimension or 3-dimension and then extend the same thing to the higher dimensions, okay, without proving them. So this is how linear algebra works. So this is the fact that everyone needs to keep in mind, that you cannot do the proofs in n-dimensional vector space or something like that, but you can extend your ideology, you can extend the principles that you have adopted for the 2D or 3D to the higher dimensions. Most of them works. Most of them. I would not say like all the concepts, all the things works out. I'm not I haven't researched it that much, but still most of them works. So in the same case, I would like to say this, like if V is of an higher dimensional, like n-dimensional vector that I'm taking, then length is represented by this. It's basically nothing but v1 square plus v2 square plus so on vn square. Okay, bad handwriting, I know it. So this is right. So this is how we do it. So v1 square plus v2 square plus so on vn square. So if you want to find the length, dot product with that vector itself, you're gonna get that. Okay, so this is how you increase your ideology to higher dimension. And now so what is left? It's the same thing. Like if you go for the 4-dimensional vector, you will be having v1 square plus v2 square plus v3 square plus v4 square, and if you go to the 2-dimensional, then you're gonna get v1 square plus v2 square root. So there is a root over everything. I've just forgive me if I'm not mentioning that because it's a mistake from my side if I forget the root. So there is an under root for everything. And now if I extend this, actually, to be honest, root over 1 square plus 1 square plus 1 square plus so on till 1 square of this n. This is nth. Okay, so this would be the length of the diagonal. Of a unit cube in n dimensions. So this is how, again, extending your ideology. Okay, so when you take it square in a 2D, and you'll be doing how do you get the length of the diagonal? So when you take a square in a 2D, so no, Cartesian plane should be drawn with black ink. So yeah, this is not a Cartesian plane, to be honest. So this is a square if I'm taking, okay, unit square, unit square in the sense every side length is one unit. Okay, so this is 1, this is 1, so this would be root over 1 square plus 1 square, isn't it? Using this is root 2, yeah, using hypotenuse theorem. So this is 1 and this is 1, so this is root 2. Or even you can say the diagonal, like this vector is nothing but 1 comma 1, so the length, or you would say the magnitude, is root over 1 square plus 1 square, that is root 2. So again, if you extend it to cube, you'll be getting that to be root over 1 square plus 1 square plus 1 square, so that is equal to root 3. And when you extend that to the other 4th dimension, there's a specific name for this, actually, 4th dimension. I forgot that, but it's a quite big name. I can't recall it right now because I'm damn sure about it, but definitely you can find that in internet. Some of viewers can comment that name, but I forgot it. But it appears to be cool actually. This is how it appears, a big one and a small one. Everything is a cube here, okay. So it appears in this way, I guess. So this is how a four-dimensional cube actually looks like. I'm not sure, like yeah, maybe some other arrows or some other sides you can add. So again, this, the cube, the diagonals, root over 1 square plus 1 square plus 1 square plus 1 square. Okay, so this is how you do it. Don't just forgive me again if this is not if this is not a four-dimensional cube. It's not cube actually, four-dimensional figure, but yeah, I think so, I assume it. Okay, so coming to the next one. So this is how you do it. So this is all about it. And now I'll start today's session with unit vectors. So let it be a limited session. Okay, I don't want to add all the stuff in one video. I can actually extend this video beyond 30 minutes, but it's not quite recommendable to extend the video more than 30 minutes. So it's better we stay limited to we learn all the basic concepts. It's fun to again recall them. Fine. So unit vector. So how do we do the unit vector? So if I take a vector u and if I dot product with it again with itself, okay, and this, if I am obtaining this as 1, okay, if I'm obtaining this as 1, so then I can say that this u is a unit vector. Fine. This u is a unit vector. So what does the dot product actually say? That's what we have discussed, right? Dot product says that it's a distance. Dot product with the same vector. Dot product with the same vector. Okay, don't misunderstand me. Dot vector with the same vector gives the distance of that vector or the magnitude of that vector. So if this is equal to 1, then that means the distance is 1. Distance of that vector is 1, and if the distance of that vector is 1, so that's nothing but the unit vector. For example, if we take any let me take some v now. Okay, why is not, yeah, v is equal to 1 by 2 comma 1 by 2 comma 1 by 2 comma 1 by 2. Okay, this is the vector that I'm taking 4 dimensions, not 3 or not 2. I'm not sitting in my room. I'm going to the 4th dimension, that is I'm taking time as my other axis as told by the great Einstein. So this is my 4th dimensional vector. Now if I do the dot product with itself, so v into v, that's half into half plus half into half plus half into half. Yeah, I'm tired. Plus half into half. So this gives 1 by 4 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 4, 4 by 4, that is equal to 1. Yeah. So we have got 1. So that means this vector is a unit vector. So this vector is a unit vector. Great invention. Yeah. So this is a unit vector. And now if we divide by its length. So now what I'll be doing is I'll be taking another vector w. Okay, w is equal to 1 comma 1 comma 1 comma 1, and now the length of it is is root over 1 square plus 1 square plus 1 square plus 1 square. So that will be equal to root over 4, that's secant 2. Now this is not a unit vector, isn't it? So this is not a unit vector. W is not a unit vector because the distance of it is actually 2. It's not 1. So now what if I divide this by the distance? What if I divide the vector by the distance of that vector? So W by the distance of that vector W. Okay, that will result in 1 by 2 comma 1 by 2 comma 1 by 2 comma 1 by 2. So this is my new vector, and if I assume this as some W have taken, V have been taken, let me assume my starting letter of my name, that is K. Okay, so yeah, this actually comes up. So K is equal to 1 by 2 comma 1 by 2 comma 1 by 2 comma 1 by 2, and this we have saw in the previous slide. This is a unit vector. Fine. So what can be extended, like what is the conclusion that we can come is, if we divide the vector with the distance of that vector, will be resulting in a unit vector. A new vector is formed, that is nothing but the unit vector. So this is how we can actually produce a unit vector from any of the vectors. So if I give you some 3-dimensional thing, and if I give you some bigger numbers like 100, 101, 102, and if I asked you to how do you get a unit vector out of this, so what you do, just find the distance of that vector and divide the vector with that, you will be getting a new vector, and that will be a unit vector. So this is how you can extend this to the higher dimensions. This is a 4 dimension. Go to the 5, go to the 6, go to the 7, go to n, go to infinity. You'll be following the same principle over there also. Fine. I think yeah, beyond, we are almost to the end. That is 29 minutes. So it's better, like, I will stop it. But the next part of this video will be a conceptual video, where I'll be teaching the essence of unit vector, the importance of unit vector in the geometry, and the most basic, like, I would say, the most uniform and a shape which doesn't show partiality towards anyone, that is circle. And about that we'll be discussing, like, how unit vector can be used in a circle, like how can a circle be represented by a unit vector. We'll be seeing that in the next part, and then we'll extend from there to the other parts of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. So I'm adding a lot of you would say irrelevant activities or relevant words in between the video, just to make sure, like, everyone's being attached to the video, they are not being shifted to some other things, because this is the basic part that we are dealing, right? So if this was somewhat tough or something like that, then you people would have listened with 100 years. Even though you have only 2 years, you people would have been listening with 100 years. I believe that that's your level of the concentration. But these are all the basic things, so you people might get distracted very easily. But I don't want that to happen, because these basic things, if not learned in the right way, will actually cost you a lot in the future. So I don't want that to happen. So I'm taking care about all these things, and I'm actually making this video a delightful video and a video that can be enjoyed by anyone. So I don't want anyone to take it as an offense or something, like want to keep some argument with this, or like, I don't want you people to get like distracted. That's my main motto. Fine. So I'll just conclude the session. So you people can have a look once again on the slides. I'm not going to put it on the main screen once again. Like, I just want you people to understand all these things. All these are basic things, so there's nothing to confuse. So signing off. Thank you for watching.